going on, guys? Welcome to podcast number 7 from the Alpha Media team. I'm Dave, and I've got Ben with me. Like every single week, we're discussing and talking about important things in life and business. So, on today's podcast, we are going to be discussing work smart versus hard work. So, obviously, we're going to talk to you about our experiences, how we sort of overcome one and the other, and yeah, just obviously having a general sort of conversation and what to do and what's better, which one obviously has the most success rate. So, yes, with that in mind, I am going to go over to you, Benjamin, and I will ask you, what is your opinion about obviously hard work versus smart work?
Like in my personal opinion, I've been thinking this over before this podcast, is if one really outweighs the other, or are they both net like the same, they're equally matched? Is that, does one sort of exist really without the other, or do you have to have both, or have to have one before the other? So
Yeah.
From research and reading, is that sort of smart work is like the fruit of hard work. So they say that you can't have smart work without having the hard work. So to learn to work smart, you've got to learn the expertise and learn sort of the ways to work smarter. So you've had to have put in the hard work beforehand, which to be fair, just sound right. Like the more I thought about it before, like I say, leading up to this, because I've been, obviously we picked this topic a few weeks back, so I had a few weeks to think over it. Is that been mulling it over? Does one really outweigh the other one, or are they evenly matched? And then when you think through your own personal experiences when you've gone through it, is that anytime you've worked smart, yes, the hard work has had to come before it. So what about your point of view on that?
Yeah. Well, it could have sort of, multiple answers to that, but I think one that sort of stood out, and I sort of written that on my phone. Actually, I'm going to use my mobile device to obviously to tell you, obviously. So I'm just going to read something out. So the difference, obviously, between hard work and smart work is based on how you approach your tasks or anything that you've got. Yeah, hard work means or that spending obviously long hours to complete a task without any shortcuts. Obviously, it definitely ensures the result, but the process is long and stressful. Yeah, we agree to that. Smart work would be aiming for the same result, but with planning and prioritization of tasks. That's what I'm going to sort of stick by, because essentially that's what it is, isn't it? So, just to obviously talk about how we sort of done things before, I suppose. This is obviously going back to even our retail game, you know, when we're both sort of in management, and how obviously that sort of compares now. There was a lot of hard work involved, you know, like we both know that obviously it was kind of like, I think with the job in hand and what we were doing, it was quite hard to prioritize tasks when you continuously are being told, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And it was always hard work. And never got nothing achieved, or took you a very long time to achieve it, you know.
Yeah, I think I look back through anything that I've done, regardless of like job or even like coming down to personal stuff that I've done, is that I think you kind of, like my experience through like doing this online stuff, is that you kind of always, without even realizing, revert back to working hard and working without thinking about it, to like stepping back, having some reflection time and thinking, how can I do this better or do this smarter? I think naturally, I think it comes from school and everything. I think it comes from from everything you're taught, just growing up and everything. I think you're taught to work harder first, and you have to work smarter, ain't you? Which probably makes sense with what I just said earlier.
Yeah.
Like that comes before the other one, but you don't ever really get to the other one, if you know what I mean. You don't ever get to the work smarter. It's like you always seem to revert back. And touching on like what you said with the retail thing is that there's so many times we'd plan for success and to work smart, and something will happen like without getting into too much detail, and or store managers step in or whatever, and you'd be revert back to working hard again.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. And obviously, we did experience that a lot of times. Yeah, essentially because again, going back to revert to what we said on the previous podcast, we were working for someone else's dream. So essentially, just work, 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 going absolutely mental, going crazy, isn't it? Um, but yeah, like even on the personal side of things and how let's just start from the beginning. Even, like you said about school, the school system obviously always teaches you to work 9 to 5, and I think still to this day, agree or disagree with me, they're still teaching kids how to obviously adapt to a lifestyle that is literally, I would say Monday to Friday, but it's like you actually work hard, if you know what I mean. You're not working smart. Teaching life skills instead of they're teaching the stuff that are you ever going to need anything about history? Are you anything going to need by biology? Unless you go to those specific fields. And then again with retail, absolutely the same. Working for someone else's dream, work for 12, 13, 14 hours. You never had a chance to obviously step back, and you always failed. Like you never had the feeling of satisfaction ever. Like I've never did. I never did. Maybe when I first started working for someone, you feel like, oh, this is a bit fresh. This is all right. I'm going to enjoy this. And then a month down the line, you hate the bloody job. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's I think like just coming on to like since all of that and like through the online thing and trying to take sort of those key learnings from experiences you've gone through in the past, whether that was school or other jobs or whatever, is that I noticed like in first year is that you kept just reverting to working hard all the time and not working smart. It wasn't till, and I know you'll vouch for this and say the same, is that when it got into the second year and like this year basically is our second year, is that just something happened, something just clicked on its place. We're just doing things a lot more smarter. Obviously, there's still room for improvement. There always is, and there's still little things we're trying to work on, get better at. But there's
hmm.
so many things that have changed and transitioned from first year to second year, just in so many ways, and been working at it smarter. So
Yeah, I was going to say to add to that. Yeah, the first year of obviously the whole business and starting it, and like the beginning is always hard, isn't it? Like obviously trying to find your way, trying to find your feet, essentially, with how you do things and how you were achieving tasks and stuff is always hard work. I remember doing again 12, 13 hour days just to achieve something and to learn something, because again it was a learning curve for both of us as well, wasn't it? So yeah, you were actually putting in the hours, but within the 12-month period, with everything that's sort of been going on in terms of both of our lives, personally, professionally, whatever, we sort of learned to adapt to tasks and actually prioritize it a little bit as well, isn't it? Because essentially, obviously, the smart work is obviously prioritizing tasks from like the most important ones to least important ones and achieve them as well, isn't it? And that's in my mind. If you fuck it up, then you're going to be working hard for the rest of your life.
yeah, I think like just even take like what we're doing now, affiliate marketing, and we've said this before on the other podcasts, like certain strategies out there. You break down each one, is that there's so many that are teaching which are work hard. Take your affiliate link, post it or spam it in a group or put it on a free ad or this, and it's just like, or post it on Instagram, and it's like you got to be doing that back to back to back to back. You got to get any results, you got to just keep going and going and going and doing it and doing it and doing it. And like just a simple thing as a sales funnel is basically the smart version of that other one I just said, which was the work hard, where you post, you got to you capture your lead them to your sales funnel, and then you capture them with other affiliate links in the back end. It's
Yeah.
working smart versus working hard. And I've said before, like, why these strategies even still being taught in 2022 is beyond me, but it is literally, it's just content. It's content. So.
And now, quick break for adverts.
Right, what's going on, guys? Dave here from Alpha Media Team. If you are thinking about starting a podcast, but you do not know where to begin or where to start, why not try and give Riverside FM a go? It's a great new tool for the fraction of the price that allows you to create great podcasts with editing capabilities of very expensive programs. So why not click the link in the bio and start your journey on becoming and having the best podcast on the internet. Take care, guys. See you later.
I'd take this opportunity to talk about what we're about here at Alpha Media. We inspire others to start an online business, give them the blueprints, show them the way to start making their first commission online, escape the 9 to 5. We should have a link listed somewhere, either around or beneath this video in the description. If you click on that link, you'll go through to a web page. On that web page, there'll be a video with myself or Dave talking through what those sort of next steps look like and through that process. Apart from that, thank you for taking the time to watch our content and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Get views, to get people to obviously to look at it and be like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the world. And then we were in the same boat, actually, or at least I was, I'll say you, because obviously you go to that sort of YouTube channel as a newbie, try to learn the new thing, and then they say to you, oh yeah, if you post it, spam it, whatever, it's going to work. And then you sit there for 6 hours straight, you post, thinking, oh yeah, within 24 hours I'm going to have $30,000. And 24 hours later, your balance on your account says big fat fucking zero. There you go. I swore in this podcast properly, but it's true at the end of the day, isn't it? When you think about it, like a lot of people literally just do it for the views. There is nothing else to it. You know, there are platforms, there are programs which will obviously allow you to create, obviously, you know, the right tech. They will allow you to create the right technique to obviously to start earning money, isn't it? It's not going to be within 24 hours because obviously there's a lot of steps involved, and you have to be really good how you create things. But at the end of the day, you are going to end up with obviously with the result with, you know, with money going into your account because people actually will, you know, buy into what you're selling. You know, that's essentially what it is.
I remember that. What I was going to say is like the other day, just someone, I know you got it as well, but someone, without saying names or anything, just spammed me a link. One asking, do I still like work where I used to work? And clearly I don't. Because one, which is quite funny, is just signed up to my email list, so you know that I don't work there anymore because we're on my email list. And then spamming me a link and trying to go about it in a way that like is deceiving, really. And it's just like wherever you've learnt this from or who you've learnt it from, it's like clearly not working, is it, or the way to do it, and you're just spamming it to your Facebook friends or whatever. It's like this is 2022 now. There's better ways to go about it than just to throw a link at it and try and deceive. You just got to be fully transparent, be yourself, open and honest. Like on here, we have an advert going on our podcast, and we don't throw it down anyone's neck on our content. We affiliate a product that we believe in, that's done well for us and we truly believe in. We're fully transparent, and the product works and the product's brilliant. People decide whether to sign up to it or not, but like we always say, the link is in the bio down below, and just check it out.
Like, with going back to what we said in terms of like the looking at YouTube and obviously just going with anything, what we obviously are trying to achieve and try to obviously get people to sign up for is something that within 15 days will allow you to create sort of multiple streams of income. Essentially, that's what it is. If you follow those 15 steps and you are, I wouldn't say you don't have to be brainy or anything like that. Literally, if you just follow those steps for those 15 days, as a 15-day challenge, you are going to end up having some success. Yeah, you are. Obviously, it's not going to be major. You're not going to be a millionaire within the first 30 days. No, but it's actually going to open up the doors for bigger and better for you, if you know what I mean. It's a good, obviously, startup. It teaches you a lot of things. So it's worth for people, obviously, to start clicking. This is essentially what we're trying to obviously let people know. There is something that actually does work. There's like loads of results out there on the internet. You can obviously do the research yourself if you want to, if you don't believe us. But essentially, it is like it just simplifies things for you, and within 15 days you can learn so much. It opens your eyes as well. It opened my eyes. I'll tell you that. Obviously, I never thought that something like this can actually, open your mind so much with like how actually things work, in a different way, not just to obviously what people try to sell you online.
Yeah, opened your eyes to working on the topic of this podcast, to working smart and to working hard with the online world. Essentially what it
Yes.
is.
Yeah, and like not being funny, obviously there's only 24 hours in the day, and obviously well, I was going to say most of the people who obviously want to try this will probably have jobs as well, isn't it? So obviously they're not going to just literally just jump out and be like, you know what, in 24 hours because I watched someone's YouTube video, I'm going to become a millionaire, so I can quit my job. No, it doesn't work like that. Let's just be realistic. Obviously, you are still going to have your job. You are still going to have to prioritize how you're going to do things. You're going to have to obviously put tasks in place or hours that you're going to spend on certain tasks.
Yeah, like let's just pick a different niche, for example. Like something just coming to my mind now as you were talking. It's like just think of like real estate and mortgages. Like how many people now they go sign up? It's like it's sheep and it's like drilled into everyone. Like leave school, get married, get kids. Where they do it all in an order anyway. But that's the subject for another day. But let's just stay on the mortgage side. Let's get a mortgage. They're like, oh, I've got an asset. I've got a mortgage I'm paying for, and I've got an asset. Well, that's working hard. You got to pay that off. It's really not an asset. It costs you more than it gives you back. But yeah, if you bought it, started renting it out,
Yeah.
and letting it pay for itself, and you keep in the house and build it up, then you get hold of another property and you start building up a portfolio of rentals or holiday lets or B&Bs, whatever, renting them out. That's working smart, and that becomes a proper asset slash business. But so many people just get a
Yeah.
house and they just sit in it. And they go, oh, I've got a mortgage, I've got an asset, something. It's like you'll be paying this off for years. And nowadays, with the crappy wages and everything else, like people get with their partner and stuff, and they get like the tiniest little terrace in the UK, and they'll probably be paying that off until they're like 50s or whatever. And it's like it's just like ridiculous. I really just don't get it.
Nah, to be fair, I went to a sort of a seminar today. Obviously, I'm not going to mention any more, but obviously, we were sort of the beginning. Sort of started with, everything is sort of getting more expensive, like everything, essentially from bills, everything that is around us has gone up, and that's true from little bits to like the big things. So obviously, with what you said, it is why would a person then like just say, "Oh yeah, why not just think outside of the box and then like actually create something extra?" Because not being funny, like if they start doing that over and over again, within a few years, they're gonna have loads of like income coming through, isn't it? And stuff and houses will be paid off, or the properties will be paid off, isn't it? It's just like sometimes you have to think outside of the box, like to actually realize the potential of the idea or what you're actually doing, isn't it? That's with everything, like every business idea, whatever you've got, you do have to do your research, but then think outside of the box. Actually, what is that going to bring me? And what you said actually is correct. Why do a lot of people for 25, 30 years ended up just having one house? By the time they retire, by the time they're 60 or 70, they're like, oh my God, I've got a house now. But then you've literally got, like, not being funny, not a lot of people live to 100. So do you think they're going to have like 30 years living in their house? Probably not. You're looking at about 5 to 10 years max, this day and age, how things are. And that's it. Life's done, gone. You finished. Move on to the next one kind of thing. Like people need to start, I think, realizing in this day and age now, with everything that's currently going on, that actually you have to start thinking smart. How are you gonna get the extra income? How are you going to obviously support yourself? How are you going to get yourself out of this rut? Because like a lot of people are currently in the rut, financially. Like it's hard for a lot of people, And how are you going to, what can you do? So think outside of the box. Use a bit of smart tactic on that, and then potentially you're going to have some extra income coming your way, or just a different life. That's pure and simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like just sort of expanding on what you just said is like for so long I was like the same in the sense that I just worked with one source of income. Never really like did any side hustles or did anything. Just worked one source of income until one day
Yeah.
I literally just sat there, like did my research and thought about it all, give myself a bit of a slap really, and just said, oh, "What are you doing? Like this is fucking working. This is working hard. You just work with one income, and then if that company or thingy wants to part with you or part ways, whatever you want to call it, you're just a number to them ends. You've then got to replace one income again. You're just like stuck rather than having multiple sources. If one falls down the pan, you're just like, well, it's barely touched the sides really because it's 20% of my overall income or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
that's been like the massive change for me on this journey is just learning that more than anything.
Yeah, I found something on the internet as well. It must have been one of the sort of the videos on social media that I was scrolling through. That if you only have one income source, and I mean that if you have literally just one income source, you're one step away from poverty, and that's quite true, actually. Because like you just said, you lose that, you're gone, you finished, done, dusted. But if you are again with that smart way of thinking, you've had multiple streams of income. Again, if you do something online, if one doesn't work, you still got another three or four, and then you create another one that creates an extra one. You know what I mean? So it's just try to, and we do apologize. I would say we do apologize. We just obviously want to sort of like we're not going on a rant or anything like that. We're just trying to get like people realize actually that in this day and age, it's really important that they start thinking smart and not work hard for the rest of their lives, because it's sad seeing a lot of people work till they literally die. Um, and yeah, they could enjoy a bit more life, go travel, see things. There's plenty of lovely things to see in the world. So yeah, that's we've all been there. We've done it. Me and you sort of managed to get ourselves out of that sort of right. Trying to create something better for ourselves. And now obviously die at the age of 70 or 80, not having anything and having one house that's still being paid for. So there you go.
I like how you just take the morbid approach of people are listening to this like
Dave's
just
changing in this podcast right now.
Maybe I just listened to this and just started crying and just like, what am I doing?
Oh my God, this is another episode where I'm just like attacking someone. It started with Elon Musk, and then obviously just continues with the path of like just different, literally people, professions are being attacked by me. No, 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 no. What I'm just trying to say is, 2022 people, halfway through the year, kind of. We all need to sort of wake up a little bit and start thinking about differently, isn't it? Because it's not going to get any better, is it? Like the war is now going for what, 80 odd days, I think. Nearly. And what is that causing? It's just causing more problems, isn't it? The prices of everything going up, the fuel's going up, food's going up. It's like it's just mental. Like people need to like start realizing, actually, guys, maybe time to change something in our lives. Or you won't see 2023 then, on ya? That's just another hit. Woo.
Thank you for that, Dave.
No worries at all. See you guys next week, right?
But anyway, bringing it back to topic, because
Bring it back in line.
I think you got to have that hard work ethic. It's like just straight up from the start, you got to have that hard work ethic. You got to be ready to do the grind. I know it's like that typical thing, and everyone's always sharing. Like I'm just as bad for it. Everyone's just always sharing, like posts saying, like you got to be able to grind and all this stuff. You got to be, and people share those kind of posts sometimes, and they don't even
Yeah.
realize like what the grind is. Like, for example, we're recording this tonight at 11 o'clock at night UK time. Been busy all day doing other stuff and that. It's getting late. Still going, still doing the grind. That's the working hard. But
Oh yes.
the working smart side, like if we just use podcast for example, is that we've got one or two or one in the bank. So, but that's to do with planning. So you've got to have that work ethic and that work hard, but then you've got to, I guess, shift and evolve into the work smart as time goes on, which is exactly what we said earlier. Like net, I think you can't have one without the other. I think they're neutrally exist. One exists because of the other, basically, to put it simply.
Yeah, and like you obviously said, I would just probably repeat that in a way. It's like you have to experience one to then realize, oh shit, I could have the other one. I'll just plan it a little bit better. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Because you're not going to create smart work out of, like you said, without having hard work. You have to work hard first to realize that actually, holy crap, I'm working so hard. Maybe I can streamline some of the things and make it more smarter, and it's still going to work for me.
Yeah. So, in summary, you got like to summarize this. So you got.
Yeah, in summary, I'm going to be a bit more positive, guys. So, in summary, you need to experience hard work to then realize that there is smart work out there. You have to prioritize, you have to do the right things. But yeah, nonetheless, at the beginning, like we started, hard work is the key. Yeah, you have to be motivated from minute one to achieve something and have that end goal in line, because essentially we're on the same journey. We started, we prioritizing, the end goal is in sight. We just have to hit it and do it. Yeah. So by using the smart work sort of model, you are going to end up having it, isn't it? Like with time, but you have to be really, again, it goes with consistency. You have to be consistent. You can't just do it one day and then, 72 hours later, you're like, oh, I'll just do a bit more now. Doesn't work like this, guys. So for me, yeah, you have to really it's all about prioritizing how you do things, but yeah, you do have to experience the hard work first.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was well put. I think my summary really is kind of what I just said a minute ago, is that I think you've got to be prepared and ready to do the grind and do whatever it takes with what you obviously find out what you love and what you're interested in, and be prepared to put in the work, and then take that reflection time, that time back, and just assess how now you've put in the work and got that experience and that now, and sort of know where you can like utilize and break it down. Right, how can I make this more automated and work smarter for me, so it frees up that bit more time, so then I can focus on this, or like just break it down, which is what we've done with our business as well.
Very nicely put.
There's a few points there really, and it's just a topic we wanted to cover really today. Our sort of our views and our opinions from our experience on working hard versus working smart. And hopefully you took some tips and some things away from it and enjoyed it really.
Obviously, thank you for listening. Appreciate that. Obviously, it's another week with another podcast from us, from Alpha Media team. If you guys can obviously subscribe to our channel.
Just about to say that like we'd like to hear and see in the comments like examples of when you've had to work hard and you've thought and transitioned it into work smart. That would be good to see some examples from other people in the comment section. So
see you next week, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.